I am so excited to be having another conversation with a mission maker and a certified brain game coach and a master numerologist. All of these pieces you've got for you. But Rika Harris, I am so excited to have this conversation with you today and find out why you're so passionate about mastering the brain game.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back. It is always a delight to be here, to talk to you, to explore. And sometimes, aha moments come up in the most unexpected places. So let's be ready for anything.
Right? I love that. And I love these conversations because they are casual conversations. Mm-hmm. This is not scripted. We'll see what comes out of our mouths today, right?
Well, maybe be careful.
I love it. So tell us a little bit about what life was like for you before you took the brain game.
My God, can I think that far back?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yes, I've been at this a few years now. I know that the brain game was what you might call a big eye-opener in the way of what is possible, in the way of, I often call it mastering your emotions, because we don't even think about it so much, but we feel totally at the mercy of our emotions. I'm so angry, I can't help it, sort of idea. Or, I feel so sad. So that in that way, if you can go through life and never think that you have a choice.
Yeah.
And I might have understood that I do have a choice, but I didn't really have the tools to put that choice into action, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that is what makes me passionate, to let people know they have a choice. There are tools that you can use. There are things you can practice. It's sometimes pretty hard at first. It's sometimes a bit tedious at first, but by golly, it's worthwhile. It is so worthwhile to learn that. And then you realize after a while, you don't get buffeted so much. You're not, you still get triggered. Let's be honest. You still get triggered, but two things, maybe three. You notice what it is way faster. You notice it's a trigger. It's an emotional reaction. You have choices, and you can get out of it faster than it was three after all.
Rika's using special fingers all as well.
Well, there might have been some Freudian slip somewhere. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Oh, that's fun. And I love that you bring that up. I didn't know that I had a choice either. When I came to brain game, I was at the whim of my emotions and buffeted left, right, and center. And I just felt like the world was happening to me. And learning that we have a choice in that, I think, is so powerful. But I love what you said afterwards. It's like, just because you brain game doesn't mean shit doesn't still happen. You get triggered, but how you respond to it changes. And I think that's the key right there. And especially in a world that we're living in today, it's so powerful to have those tools in your tool belt.
Yes. Yeah. And I would add that looking with a different lens, which is, the big part in the first few sessions, that is so important, because we are accustomed to our viewpoint. We are usually surrounded with people that see it the same way, that will enforce what we feeling and thinking in our reaction. And this guy, whatever, or this friend was just so mean to me, and there's, that was you're so right, you're so entitled to be angry and mad and lash back or something. Step back. When you really understand that these are triggers that come from somewhere else, that possibly not even particular to do with whatever the friend may have done or said or whatever, and that you can take almost like responsibility for that. You don't have to go into that angry state and that retaliation or whatever might be around, because it's the common thing. Like I said, so many still in that mind frame will totally understand it and totally support it. And yet you can look at it differently. You can see a different perspective and a different way of reacting that serves you better. Because let's be honest, so many of our reactions, although they're strong and well habituated, they don't even serve us. They don't make us any happier. That might just make us madder or more upset or more feeling more betrayed or any of these things. And I think that's the big thing for me too, that you can change that. You don't have, just because you think it doesn't make it true. If you think you're justified and, being whatever, maybe you are, but maybe you can see it differently. So that different aspect, the different lens, the looking elsewhere for your reaction, which is usually inside, that's a big step too.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So tell us, how did the brain game change your life? What's life like on the other side?
On the other side, well, I sort of hinted at that earlier. The triggers that do still come, I can see them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can see you.
Yeah,
That's a big step, just recognizing that you're just in a sort of habituated reaction, which is what we all are, but to recognize it and say, I don't actually want that. It doesn't serve me, it doesn't serve another person, it doesn't get us anywhere. What do you want instead? And you may not get there right away, but by even asking that question, you are pulling away from an unwanted emotion, put it that way. So I find that incredibly helpful. And this is probably one of the things that I share in so many ways with my family, my friends, my clients. You have choices. You can catch these triggers. You can catch these reactions, and you can, train your brain to react differently. So that is part of the brain game and part of some of the things I do as well, which I think we talk about after. But in that is so much empowerment right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually getting quite excited over just talking about it.
We may or may not be really passionate about brain game.
Yeah.
I love that. So you touched on, you've got other work that you do. So share with us, what are some of the other modalities that you include with your work, even as a brain game coach?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I do, I'm a master EFT practitioner as well. And that can help tremendously with the thought patterns. You can sort of rewire your brain with that. It's so simple and so powerful. I also, well, of course, we both are numerologists, and that's getting that creeps in everywhere.
All the numbers, all the time. Yes.
All the numbers, all the time, and so this is part of the empowerment, because if you know your numbers, you know yourself, you understand yourself, you can, as you understand yourself, you can be more compassionate to self and more forgiving. And that could be a totally new thing for some people, to get there. So that's another segment of self-empowerment, really. I've forgotten where I'm going with that.
So I know that you use one other modality for sure. So EFT tapping, numerology. What's the third?
Reiki.
Oh, Reiki. Okay, I was thinking of another one. So
I have others too. Yes. Well, I do. Well, I do the tarot. I do the forecasting. That's numerology. I do. Sometimes I forget myself all the things I've trained.
Channeling. Yeah.
Channeling. Yes, there you are. That's it.
Channeling. That's what I was thinking about.
I'm really, really embracing the channeling big time. And it's so beautiful. And I have a feeling that more and more channels, people, that do it, are coming up because we need the messages. We need to spread that. People are looking for a different message rather than gloom and doom. really, honestly. And all the channeling that I have done so far have nothing to do with gloom and doom, and everything with encouragement, support, being cherished, being loved, being supported. I mean, beautiful, beautiful messages. And that in some ways ties in again with the brain game, in as much as it's again coming back to the self, to discovering or uncovering what's happened, what might be stuck within there, and helping to release it. And then the big part is self-forgiveness.
Yes.
That comes in with that. By golly, I had to do a lot of, honest self-talk, so to speak, understanding what happened, and just forgiving it. There's so many times in life where you wish you had known, or you wish you'd done better, and oh my goodness. And it's okay. We had the journey, we did what we did because we didn't know it all. I mean, really, I know so many different things now that I did 10 years ago even. Yeah. And I wish I had known them earlier. I wish I'd, taught my children differently, whatever, so many things. But accepting that as is, not staying stuck back there in the regret and the self-blame and all that. That's a big thing that I had to let go of, the self-blame. I think that's pretty common, by the way, for anything. And then coming to, to this place of, I am here now. I can do the things that I want to do now. I don't even want to say better, because that's a judgment, but the things that I find more helpful and more, empowering is a big word, because we do have so much power. We do. Oh, Q. This is another thing I do.
She's got a list of modalities. Yeah. I love it. So what inspired you to become a brain game coach in the first place?
Well, it's, I had such good coaches. Hint, hint. Nice. Very inspiring coaches, let's be honest. And I loved what I learned, really. It has made a big difference for me. This thing with, looking at things with a different perspective. And one of the big things for me, I remember it so well, the first time around even, when I learned that, was the trauma triangle, and how we are stuck in there, and how we have, again, here we go, we have a choice as we recognize it to step out. And for me in particular, it was the victim mode, the total martyr, Anyway, could talk about that for a long time. But realizing it's a mindset. It's a programming that I'm running on. And really, I don't fancy myself in that role anymore. I'm stepping out. And sometimes you have to step out again and again and again. That's okay, because now you know.
Yeah, right? I love that too, is, we can judge ourselves for the decisions we made in the past. And one of my favorite things to do is say, it's okay. I didn't know what I didn't know. And now I know, so I choose differently this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love that. So tell us a little bit about what your very first teaching session was like.
Honestly, I cringe right now.
So I've got a group of people right now who are learning to teach the brain game, and next week they are all beginning. And so we had our first call today together, and there is some, oh boy, what have I gotten myself into? So when you do that, like, I can feel it.
What I didn't, I had, so much learning to do, but I was really wanting to share it, and I was a little bit too fixed on repeating almost every word that either you or Joy had said, because that's the gospel sort of thing. And I have since learned that I understand the material, and I can present it in my own words. That's okay. But I was, and it was still good. I mean, the truth was there, the material was there, the concepts were there. I just was so worried about, really the typical, I have to get this right. It has to be perfect.
Yeah.
As if.
There's no such thing. No such thing.
Yeah, there isn't. And and the other thing, there doesn't need to be such thing. Yeah. Again, this is a mindset that we have been, indoctrinated with. You've got to get it right. Job worth doing is worth doing well, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying shoddy work is fine, but this pursuit of perfection stifles so many dreams and holds people back. And I can speak for myself on that for sure. And showing up perfectly imperfect, I think I'm doing that really, really well these days.
Yes. I love it. Oh my gosh. So teaching the very first session. Oh crap. Right. Then you got to week 10 of teaching. What did it feel like to complete that journey with your students?
It was a triumph. I felt so much better. It was, I had chosen a couple of really safe people, so to speak, which was good. And one of them is my daughter, who doesn't mess about. She gave me tough feedback, but it was so helpful. And she goes, Mom, this stuff. Don't be so rigid. This stuff. Yeah, she was right. I did. And so yes, going through it, and I think the particular, all the components, as you say, are arranged in a certain way that that take us through the divine timing stages. They are a journey, and it is a beautiful completion when you do it all, and everybody as a participant gets out what they're ready for. And that's something I've learned for myself, because I'm sure the first time I went through the brain game, I didn't understand it all.
Yep, me too.
For sure. And then I took another, which is so beautiful that I can do it again and again with you guys. I did it again, and then so many more ahas. And I don't know how many times I've done it now as a student, never mind as a coach. And it's always more layers and more layers. And because each time you come to it as a person, it doesn't matter, student or coach, you are already changed somewhat. We're changing all the time. We're evolving a bit. We are learning more. We have different viewpoints. And so there is new things always. And that sometimes it's, oh my gosh, I thought I knew this. I thought I'd done this. But then again, it's also excitement because, there's more.
Right? Yes, I love that. And our students return time and time again, and we take the brain game, and even us as teachers, we get it over and over again, because it's like peeling back the layers of the onion. There's always more. And I love that your reference of you're gonna take what you can hear, and then the next time you can hear more, and the next time you hear a little bit more. That's beautiful. So what would you say are some of the results that you've seen with your clients?
The sort of self-responsibility, and allowing viewpoints to change. I think that's a big one, because sometimes we are pretty invested in our stories,
sometimes. I know what you're talking about, Rika.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's amazing how many different little stories we run. We might catch the big ones pretty quickly, and then the little subsets. Oh my God. And, realizing that the stories we may have believed all our life. So just for example, my story, one of them was, nobody cares about what I have to say. Nobody wants to listen to me. So I denied my voice altogether. Absolutely. Didn't speak. Hated that, because I knew I had something to say in some ways, but I had no confidence about it whatsoever. So as you know, if you have that belief, all the evidence points to more of that belief. So coming to the stage where I had to question that. I actually had to question it. Why did I believe that all this time? And I saw, as so often is the case, that it started very early in childhood, where it was a good thing to be the quiet child. And I took that to the nth degree. I just stopped talking altogether. And you know, in a child's mind, who knows what goes on there, really? But it seemed to be being quiet is, you know, it keeps you out of trouble.
Ah, yeah, right.
It keeps you out of trouble. So now it's rather hard to shut me up because I have let go of that story.
And I kind of like trouble.
Yeah, I can handle that now. But you know, but it was a momentous moment when I realized it was a story I told me that I was so invested, that I believed so much, that, you know, I was the victim of nobody caring, so to speak. That was a victim role, really. That that I could release that belief. I actually had to release that belief to change my actions and my reactions and my whole. It wasn't actually easy at first, because, you know, it's something I believed all my life, sakes, you know. So I'm just, you know, putting it out there that and this is where you need the tools to get you through that release, and you know, bringing something in that you want to have instead, you know, which is, I would say, confidence or self-worth or whatever. It could be anything. And then, you know, once you start with one, you'll find, oh, there's another belief that doesn't really hold true anymore. And oh my goodness, do I really still think that is true? Oh, you know, so, and while it changes you, it changed me a lot, totally. It's quite, you know, I like the curiosity around it all, and the new me. I actually like the new me way better, to be honest.
From somebody who was terrified to speak, now you're on YouTube sharing your message. So there you go.
Yes. Yeah, and anybody that wants to interview me, I'm game. I'll go.
There we go.
Love showing up now. Really do. And yeah, it is so. So that's, I guess, something I've known for myself, but I've seen it, you know, in my, because I mean, I can't stop sharing bits of brain game, you know, appropriate to whatever situation, and I can see the aha moments in my friends and in my children, and you know, even, you know, the clients that I still know, you know, that have gone with me, you know, they may come, oh, can I just talk to you for a minute? And we just explore. Sometimes 5 minutes, boom, something is totally shifted. I've had that more than once. So beautiful.
So powerful. Oh my gosh, Rika, you know, I'll talk to you all day long. I love our conversations every time we get together. But I want to end the show with always one question. What is your dream for Brain Game?
I know you say you want to make Brain Game a household name, and I think that's a great idea. And I will maybe just qualify that a bit, saying that if not everybody can go through the whole course, that at least they get some of the main points delivered in some way, because it is so freeing to release, for example, all these old stories. That's one aspect. And to take charge of your emotional reactions, that's life-changing. So, and I want to bring that to everybody, you know, basically totally recondition everyone. You know, the common narrative does not serve us. It probably wasn't meant to serve us. I don't know. I don't want to go there, but it does certainly not serve us. You look around, you know, are people happy? Are they feeling okay? And that's the difference. I'm just not afraid anymore. That's really it. I'm not afraid anymore. My gosh, the world's worst barrier is not afraid anymore. Well, is that a shift or what?
Is that a shift or what? Oh my gosh. Well, that was like a mic drop moment. Thank you so much, Rika, for being on the show.
Thanks
Those
for
of
having me
you who are
back.
watching, for those of you who are catching this live or on the replay, if you're interested in Brain Game, reach out. We will connect you with a coach. And if you want to teach the Brain Game, reach out and we will get you all sorted out with a business in a box and everything you need to go create impact. Thank you, Rika, for being on the show. Such a pleasure.
Thanks for everybody to listen in.